Alright, this is going to be my first review on a series of shoes from brands from the East. So I teamed up with WeeViews. I suggested an idea of getting some shoes in from the East, mainly China, doing some reviews just to see if there are good value propositions, some good shoes at a less cost to the consumer that can provide the same output as the brands we are used to providing running shoes to us. So the first shoe I am doing is the Anta PG7. So I will get into a little bit about the company Anta, and then my review thoughts on this shoe after 31 miles of running and about another 8 to 10 miles of walking in the shoe. And this is going to be the first in a series of these reviews. I've already got 6 of them posted on WeeViews if you want to go check out the text written review. I'm going to try and get the videos caught up. Work set me behind, so I don't have time for my side job, so I'm trying to get caught back up. So I will get into a little bit about Anta next, and then the details of the shoe and my thoughts on the mileage. Okay, so Anta is among the top 3 sportswear companies in the world. So they're behind only Nike and Adidas. They're probably the largest running brand company that a lot of us have not heard of, and it's because they're out of China. But they do have Klay Thompson and Kyrie Irving with endorsements on basketball shoes. They have officially opened a brick and mortar Anta shoe shop in Los Angeles, and they have a active US website. That's actually where I got 2 of the shoes that I'm doing reviews on for Anta. The one I did up first I got off Amazon. 2 of the 3 of those shoes are available on Amazon, and all 3 are available on the Anta website, but I'll get into those for each review. They have recently bought 29% shares in Puma, which makes them the majority owner of Puma at this point in time. In addition, they have partial or joint ownership ventures in other brands such as Amer Sports. I mention that because brands under Amer Sports include Arc'teryx, Salomon, and Peak Performance. So Anta has their hands in a lot of jars, a lot of brands that I didn't realize they were involved with. I did hear the news about their stock purchase in Puma, so that's interesting. Be interesting to see where that leads overall. Right now, I look at them as a value proposition for the American consumer, but we'll see if that stays. So next up, I will get into the deets and the usage details of the shoe, and then my thoughts. Okay, so my first lesson in Chinese shoes is that the Chinese brands do not like to share much information about their shoes as far as specs. They call their foams in general terminologies. So this is the Anta PG7. Their foam is called the PG7. It's their peak gravity foam. Their rating is a 7, so it's the PG7 shoe. It is what it is. They don't give sample size weights. They don't give out their heel stack. You might find drop information here and there. So basically, the stats that I have are what I can have. They normally do give the material of their uppers and some information on their sole, but they don't give a whole lot of detail about the type of foams they use and the stack heights. So some of this is from GPT, which would just summarize other reviews. Some of it is just information I've garnered from other reviewers who some of them take their own measurements. So trying to get as close to information as I can. On this shoe, the heel stack is between 36 and 40. My guess is a 38 millimeter heel stack. I had them with the Saucony Ride, which through Saucony does state that they're a 38 millimeter, and they felt even underfoot. Walked around, everything felt on an even plane. So my best guess is they are at a 38 millimeter stack in the heel. They have an 8 millimeter drop. Walking around with the Ride, it felt like the same kind of underfoot feel. Same stack, same level, everything. So I feel pretty good about 38. It's close. The upper is engineered mesh with TPU overlays. So we got some TPU overlays here. It's a dual mesh. The outsole is called an A-grip sole. It is on light material. They have a pretty good slather of it here. See through there. The midsole foam, I think, is an EVA based foam. I don't know if it's supercritical or not. My guess is it's pretty straight laced EVA foam. So MSRP is between $70 and $90. When I bought these shoes in February, I think it was February now, it looks like there might have been sales going on. So the Anta website had them for around $80. Amazon has some from I think actually 65 up to 90 depending on the colorway. Right now both the Anta site and Amazon site have them at $90. So I guess they just have sales throughout, just something to keep an eye on. So we'll go with MSRP at $90 right now, but prices do seem to fluctuate. Use cases: I ran 31 miles in mostly dry conditions on concrete, as well as a test run of a couple of miles in wet conditions. I also walked 6 to 8 miles, and I actually did a couple miles after that, so I'm probably right around 10 miles of walking. I use them in the office. I walked the parking lot, lunch, around the office there, and I did some walking of the dog around the neighborhood. It's a good walking shoe, but I'll get into that later. The PG7 model, it looks fairly straightforward, but that's because they've only brought so far this specific PG7 model into the US. But it's a bit confusing if you start researching Europe, Australia, China. They have like 5 to 7 different versions of the PG7 model. They have PG7 Travel, the PG7 Ultra, the PG7 Plus. It gets confusing when you go down that rabbit hole, which I did a little bit, and then I backed off because right now this is the only thing from Amazon and Anta being sold directly in the US, so I stayed simple on this one. So that is it for the details. Hopefully you get a little bit of understanding from Anta and the model at this point. So let's get into the shoe. Next up, the upper. Okay, so let's get in some details on the upper of this $90 shoe that I bought for $70. So first of all, the laces. Laces are nice, strong. They did not go cheap on these laces. They have a little bit of a grit ribbed pattern on here. They did great. The tongue is fully gusseted. I would say minimally padded with the lace loop. So the throat, the tongue, the laces, all high quality. Did a great job. Locked down the foot well. No complaints about this area. It's very well made area. The collar is probably a little thicker than I would like. It feels like it's almost a max cushion type of cushioning on it. For the Houston area, I would probably want a little bit less for the spring, summer, fall, because it's almost the same temperature year round here. But for the cooler areas, this is great. It is, and it's comfortable. I mean, it's nice and comfortable. Have a fairly rigid heel on here, but have no hot spots, no slippage. Foot lockdown was great in this shoe. I had good room in toe box. They seem to kind of round out the toe area, so you get a little extra room. Nice toe bumper. The engineering mesh is probably a little thick as well, so this would probably be a great winter shoe. It's also a nice looking shoe. Honestly, it looked good walking around the office. Worked good there. So anything I missed on that? Did order this in my size 12. It fit true to size. I had the normal amount of toe room, between the end of the foot and my toe. It was a perfect fit. I was worried about the fit, but the first shoe that came in was perfect. That made me feel a little bit better about my next purchases coming in. But that is it for the upper. So next up, the outsole. Okay, so this outsole did great. It is showing no wear really to this point in time, which I know I only have 31 miles on it, but I still see wear on outsoles quite often at 31 miles, and I got another 10 miles of walking in it. I am a killer of soles, so the fact that I see no real wear on this is impressive. I ran 2 miles in wet conditions, right after a rain, so the path was wet. I had no grip issues. It held tight. I felt confident in the grip of this shoe. It was great on all surfaces. Doesn't squeak in the office on linoleum. Some of the other soles from the Chinese shoes I've got, because they use liquid rubber and CPU outsoles, do squeak a little bit, and the linoleum, it worked. This does not. It's a silent killer. It's perfect. But it has a nice thick amount of it, and it doesn't deaden the feel underground. Like some of the rubbers, when you get they get slappy, you kind of hear it, but this is a little bit of a softer rubber, but I'm not getting the soft wear I get from like the Puma Grip. Great outsole material, but I tend to wear it quick. This one isn't wearing as quick, and it's still a little bit softer, so it becomes a little bit more organic with the shoe. You still can get some bend from it. It doesn't make it so hard and all that. So very impressed with the outsole, especially at $90, because I think it's going to be above average on durability. So next up, the Midsole. Okay, so this underfoot walking gives a nice soft feel, which is common experience with EVA foams for me walking. The problem I have with EVA foams, and I had a similar experience in this, is when I start running them, you can either say it firms up or it flattens out. I personally think I flatten it out. Some people want to say they it firms up for them, but I think I'm actually, because I put a lot of force into my mechanic when I'm running, I think I'm actually flattening the foam out, and it's not I'm not getting the rebound out of it. So I tend to get a flat feel out of EVAs. But if you want a comparison on underfoot feel, it is very similar to maybe 2 revisions ago of the Brooks Glycerin. Very similar feel. I honestly, it felt a lot like a traditional Brooks shoe underfoot when I was running. That's not a bad thing. A lot of people love that shoe. I tend to like a little bit of a different experience now after time, but I've got 1,400 miles in glycerins, so it's a good feeling. It does the job. It protects you. It'll take care of you, and at $90, it's hard to complain, right? So for me, at $90, this midsole is giving me good feedback. It's great for walking. Honestly, if you're looking for a nice walking shoe and you like Brooks, you might want to give this shoe a try. Save you some money. What else? So some comparisons. I would call this almost a hybrid shoe between the Saucony Ride, was it the 18 I ran in, and the Glycerin 21. If you combine those 2 shoes, because the Glycerin 21 still had 10 millimeter drop and the firmer EVA type of underfoot feel, and the Ride isn't the most responsive foam, but it's got the 8 millimeter drop. So if you combine those 2 shoes, it's kind of the Anta PG7. That's how it felt underfoot to me. So I don't know if that helps you, because at $90, again, I'm comparing this shoe to shoes that are from $140 to $160 retail when they were new. So it's hard to complain. If you're looking for something currently on the market that might be a direct comparison to this, it would probably be the Brooks Revel Max. Not a lot of people know about that shoe. I haven't ran in it, but I have walked around Academy Sporting Goods. Feels very similar to this underfoot, and it's $120. So you're still looking at, if you're paying full price for this, $30 more than this shoe. So in my opinion, it's worth giving this shoe a chance. There's very little risk. You can buy it from Amazon. You can buy it from Anta. Both of those are US, so the return concern that you may have with buying some Chinese shoes is a lot less there, because Amazon, I got this in 1 day through Amazon because I had them in stock, and Amazon has a good return policy. So if you want to give it a shot, that would be the way to start. So for some final thoughts. So this is a good shoe. For what it is, it's versatile. You can do long miles in it. Most of the miles I did were between 5 and 6 miles. I just prefer a different type of feel for a long run shoe now. But it took care of me. Had good lockdown. It was protective. I really liked walking around in it. It was a really good office shoe. It's not going to stop being an office shoe because it goes good with some of my colors I wear to work. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's not going to blow you away, but if you're looking for a $90 shoe, this is going to take care of you more than a lot of $120 to $140 shoes that are on the U.S. market right now. Now, the question I have is, now that I'm stepping into the Chinese offerings, will this $90 shoe hold up its value proposition to the U.S. consumer compared to some of the other options? And stay tuned, because it may have direct competition within its own brand. So coming soon, the next review after this one. If you like my information, you want to support the channel, please give me a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I do put a lot of time and effort into miles. I try to give my honest feedback, trying to get better, but I've also gotten behind because I have a full-time plus job that I do on top of this. So anything you can do to help me out. Hopefully you enjoy the shoes from the brands from the East series that I'm getting ready to lay out. But again, check out WeeViews. I'm going to put the link in the description. I have 6 reviews already posted on the site. The site could use some support as well. So appreciate anything you can do. I hope you're out getting some good miles and some good weather. Texas went through a little bit of a cold front, so I had a great few days of running. And some great shoes from a company called Li Ning. So those will be coming out in a little bit. And other than that, hope your day is awesome. Cheers.